Since the UK voted to leave the EU, shares in Burberry, the fashion retailer and global symbol of British style, are up 12%. This is not down to patriotic Britons splashing out on trench coats. The main reason is that the weaker pound will inflate Burberry's results. It reports in sterling, but only a tenth of its sales are in the UK, and about half of those sales are to tourists, for whom the UK just became cheaper. The secondary reason is a management shakeup. Chris Bailey, the former design chief, promoted to chief executive in 2014, will now be president, which appears to mean very important person who is no longer CEO. A new CEO, Marco Gobbetti, will come from LVMH. The CFO, Carol Fairweather, will also be replaced. When these changes were announced, the shares rose 6%. But the shares remain down a third from the highs of early last year. Growth was in the double digits back then. In the first fiscal quarter just reported, same-store sales were down 3%. Sales fell in every region, and wholesale revenue, just over a quarter of sales, is expected to be down 10% in the first half as customers tighten inventory and order cautiously. It is tempting to conclude that having a young designer running the company was rash, and that grown-up supervision should get revenues up and widen margins. This view does not stand up to scrutiny. The big problem is that 40% of Burberry's sales are from Chinese customers who have pulled back hard. There are no obvious managerial solutions there. In wholesale, Burberry's key US customers are having a miserable time. Even high-end department stores are staggering. Nordstrom shares, for example, have been cut in half in just the last year. Finally, there is little to indicate that Mr. Bailey was falling short as a manager. The company's costs and margins compare respectably with peers. The plans already in place, emphasizing store productivity over store growth and simplification of the product line, come right out of the Sensible Retail Handbook. That leaves two things for the new team to do: execute well and roll out clothes that more people want to buy. Only better sales growth will prove that those two boxes have been ticked. Rob Armstrong, Lex.